Come on! Come on! Take that! Come on! Come on! It's gotta be it! Come on!
Alex, you're missing every shot!
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing!
Oh, what's the matter? Is the targeting system on that pathetic suit of yours malfunctioning?
You wish?
Come on. We both know that that's a prototype. I mean, you don't even have any armor protecting your legs!
Yeah, about that. Ah, yes, rocket boots. I took a page out of your playbook, except my upper half was the distraction instead. Ha!
Yes! You did it! She's dead!
You better go catch him, Alex.
On it!
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Hellbound Podcast. I had actually started talking before Alex pressed record, but now he has pressed record. And everybody, we hope you liked the conclusion to the second arc, the Aswang arc of the of our intros, where we have just defeated the Aswang. Good work, Alex. Oh,
Good
that's
work.
my co-host, Alex.
Cheers, Michael. I think where we've gone in terms of the intros is fantastic, and wasn't it originally an idea to kind of bridge the gap where we couldn't be on it and our partners were on it?
Yeah, like when we were both like stupid busy, so we had our wives on instead of each other as co-hosts, and so yeah, we had a way to keep ourselves, both of us, still on the show somehow.
Yeah.
Now it's evolved, and
It's
thank you.
become a thing now.
It has, but thank you, Katisha Shah, once again for lending us your voice, for being an absolutely incredible Aswang, and thank you, Jessica Flowett Chan, or Jessica Chan, as we're still working on her stage name, but my wife, for your voice as essentially the Pepper Potts or Oracle of our series. If you're a comic books fan.
I think she smashed that. When I listened to that raw audio before I mixed it, I kind of played with the audio to kind of make it come through like an intercom in your head kind of thing. I was like, she really did do a fantastic job. I think she's super talented and just has this really fantastic tone. And yeah, Jess is fantastic.
She is. And the thing is, like, I've been an actor for 15 years, and I started in this industry as a voice actor. I, at the beginning of my career, never had the abundance of talent that she is coming at this with. And for her to fall in love with this art and then start trying to pursue it during the pandemic of all times, it just has me so excited, because whereas I had to like train, not saying she doesn't have to train, but like it took me many years to even get to the point I am, to even get to her point. How about that? To get to where she is now, it took me years, and she's already there. So that is like talent beyond belief. So I believe very much. I'm not only saying this because she's my wife, but like I see so much potential.
When did you kind of first notice that? Was that something before she started trying to do voiceover stuff?
It was more because of the pandemic. The acting industry has changed. The industry has changed. The entertainment industry, film and television, all that, because we can't audition in person. Now you kind of can, but most of the time you don't. It's self-tapes. And with self-tapes, you need a reader. You know, when we were in lockdown, Jess became my reader. She'll be sitting behind a camera and talking to me, but she likes to do characters for the different characters in the scene, and she does voices and tones, and she changes everything for them, and she just kind of fell in love with that. But even before the pandemic, there was already an interest in it, because she's always been good at using her voice. She's a phenomenal singer. She does a lot of great impressions, and you know, like when I took a few workshops, I actually got her to go take a couple as well. Like she trained with Marilla Wex, who's a British actress who is Canadian now, but she's both of our business of voice acting mentors. But she took a workshop with Marilla, and then the pandemic hit, and then she's been honing it since. And then we did like Star Trek radio theater. So she's doing like script reads as different characters where she can like expand her range and experiment to see what her voices truly are, what her stronger ones are, what her weaker ones are. And it's all the pandemic, really. So, you know, as bad as this pandemic has been, some good stuff has come out of it.
Absolutely. Like you and I was going to say falling in love, that for you and I becoming good friends. So.
Oh, come on. We all know you and I have like a little side affair that our wives are okay with.
Absolutely. Do you think, just kind of riffing off what you were saying about Jess and her voiceover work and her talent, a lot of voiceover work is kind of lost in processing now, because we're going to kind of lead on to talking about Pyscho Goreman and the both of us having Shudder, and how much processing there is in a voice. Because I originally thought, the great idea of having Tom Hardy as the voiceover artist as the Venom kind of symbiote. I thought it was a great idea, but when I listened to it, I question how much is him and how much is processing, and that's a little bit scary sometimes, as though some of that natural talent is left by the wayside.
I guess for certain characters, it's very difficult not to have processing. There's only so much any human can do.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about putting on a voice. Like I've seen a lot of amazing TikTokers who can, you know, blurt out a few sentences as this character or that character, but it's about sustaining, and to sustain a voice while actually performing, not just imitating, not just reciting, but performing new dialogue over and over again. That is, sometimes you just have to have some kind of processing for that. But if you watch enough animation, you'll know most voices are not processed. It's just a natural raw voice that people are doing. And most of the editing usually comes in the form of everything around the voices and maybe taking out a breath here or a breath there.
I met with the shout out to my friend Chris Barden, who reached out after years of, we had a very strong friendship and hopefully still do. He reached out to me and said he's started listening to the podcast, and we hadn't spoken in years, but we were making short films together. We had all-nighters making stop animation, that kind of thing together. So, and we were ushers in two different cinemas as well. So Chris and I met Andy Serkis at a Comic-Con type thing a good few years ago, and we actually talked to him only for a couple of minutes or so, and we briefly talked about his voice and how he went through days of not being able to use his voice because it was so broken. Like you say, not just reciting lines of dialogue, but truly performing. And in terms of the physicality, it's not just the voice and putting on a voice in a booth. He was on set being larger than life as Gollum. So yeah, there's a whole level of respect I have for voiceover artists and just performers generally, and how much you have to really kind of push yourself, and you know how hard it is, how hard it can be on your voice and how hard it can be on your body.
So let me just this isn't really horror related, but actually it could be. So a couple of years ago, I was the, I guess, face of Mucho Burrito, which is like a burrito shop here in Canada. I was in their ghost pepper burrito / Halloween commercial, and I'm the only person in there. And it's a really cool commercial where it starts off, you're kind of like in a graveyard and it's really spooky, but all the tombstones are pink and they have funny little names on them, and then it zooms out, and you know, you see more and more graves, and then all of a sudden you realize it's actually the taste buds on a tongue, because the taste buds are dead. And then it exits my mouth and it's me, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs because I'm dying from the heat of that ghost pepper burrito. And I remember someone I had met at a friend's birthday party who was an aspiring voice actor said to me, you know, Michael, you really inspired me to become a voice actor. I'm like, oh, really? yeah, like I saw your commercial and I thought, man, if this guy can get paid lots of money to just scream on camera, and then, you know, that's out there and everyone's seeing it, and, you know, I just met you and I know who you are, I think I can do it too. And I'm like, wait, you're inspired to be a voice actor because you think all I did was scream, as in it's easy. Now, I know a lot of my friends that I've told the story to have been offended by it, but I'm not. The whole point is an actor who is well trained and who dedicates themselves to their art should be able to make it look easy, and I do. But what people don't know is I sustained that scream over and over again for 3 hours straight.
Wow.
I only had one break. One, and it was 10 minutes. So the sheer amount of takes, people don't get this. I didn't just do like 5 takes and then they chose one. We did different takes in different positions, in different pitches, in different tones, in different lengths. We did it with me holding the burrito in one hand and the other hand, wrapped burrito, unwrapped burrito, bitten burrito, unbitten burrito, bag and shot, bag without. It went over and over. 3 hours. 3 hours. And here's the thing. When I left, my throat was fine. You try going to a concert screaming for 2 hours and not come out of it losing your voice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that is the difficulty of voice acting. And I'm telling you, like, when a good voice actor has to be able to sustain, that is one of the key elements of voice acting.
Like you were saying, the different takes you have to do. I listened to an interview with Tom Hanks talking about the different variations of Woody or Woody climbing up a ladder, and how many different versions or slight different intonations and from different angles approaching the mic in different way. It's really fascinating, and it's something I'm always kind of fascinated in, kind of improving myself is audio generally, or Foley mixing. So sound and the understanding of how it really works. When you start to have a real grasp of how audio works, or recording, and what that takes, you really start to look at artists in a different way, because you really you get a proper understanding of the time and effort that goes into these things. Because when you've got something seamless, it's like, oh, that's really straightforward. Like, I won't name names, but I'm producing something at the moment, and it's a 5-minute project. The client thinks it'll take 5 minutes to make. I'm like, no, it takes days and days for prep. You go crazy for a couple of days of shoots, and then you got processing over a couple of weeks or a few weeks of post.
Oh, yeah.
People truly don't understand. They have no grasp of media or film or television, how difficult it is to make.
30-second scene in Chinatown in Toronto from the movie Red, starring Bruce Willis, that I worked on. And yes, I did get to meet Bruce Willis. But it's a 30-second scene, and it took 16 hours to film that day. That's insane. But that's how it is, right?
Just imagine how long scenes took for, like, Blade Runner, like Blade Runner 2049.
God,
Have you seen those lighting rigs they used? It's like hundreds of ARRI lights. It's just like, but obviously you've got teams of people that deal with certain aspects of that. But yeah, 16 hours and 30 seconds is crazy. Moving swiftly on, I think we'll talk about Pyscho Goreman and Shudder, because I lovingly surprised Michael with a gift through his fantastic wife Jess. And
you did. Thank you.
How did that happen? How did you figure out that I'd sent you kind of Shudder?
First of all, thank you, Alex. Like, I still don't have enough words that I could say to thank you for the gift of Shudder. I've always wanted to have it, but the reality is, like, the streaming landscape is so vast now and so expensive that we can only have so many in our home, and so I never thought to actually go and get Shudder. But there are so many films and so many series that I want to watch that are on there. And so anyways, the other day I was just like bouncing on my daughter on the trampoline, and I was telling Jess that you had recommended Pyscho Goreman and I really wanted to see it. And she was like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, but it's on Shudder, and I don't know how we're going to see it. You mean Shudder? Like the thing that I'm setting up on the TV right now? Like, wait, that's what you're actually setting up Shudder? Yeah. I'm like, when did you get it? It's like, oh, I didn't get it. Alex got it for you.
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
what?
That's awesome, man. I love that. I said to Jess, the only thing I need you to do is just surprise Michael somehow with it. So I sent it through PayPal. We worked out dollar to whatever pound, and then I just thought, right, I'll send it to Michael, and I thought it'd be a nice gift because we all need a little kind of pep sometimes. And
yes, thank you again. Like, it was great. And so yeah, that night we watched Pyscho Goreman, which blew me the heck away.
I've got some real positive vibes on it. There's only one teensy weensy little thing I have about it, and maybe it's my setup, but we can wait till the end to talk about that. But Pyscho Goreman on Shudder, how would you describe this film to listeners that have never seen it?
Pyscho Goreman, I would call it a horror comedy in the style of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers without the Power Rangers. So you have these monsters and aliens and whatnot who are all in Power Rangers monster style costumes. So they're kind of cheesy. They're also pretty badass. And they have to perform in them, which is pretty difficult, but also stiff. So there's like quite a bit of comedy element, a lot of practical effects needed for that style of film or show, right? And but yeah, it's comedy because it's the story of these kids that find a great evil being that had been locked away for a very long time, kind of like Rita Repulsa from Power Rangers.
It is.
Right? It's like, after 10,000 years or whatever. Anyways, in this case, yeah, they unlock the seal. Evil dude shows up. Unfortunately for him, the thing that's the key, the gem that's like the key to that vault, is also a thing that allows the little girl of the duo, there's a boy and a girl, the girl to actually control him. And that's where all the hilarity ensues.
I love this film. It took me a little bit of time. I will cut some of that gibber, that kind of strain in my voice then, but it took me a little bit of time to warm up to the lead kind of character, the lead little daughter, because
Mimi.
Yeah, on reflection, the whole world that this is set in, the Earth or whatever you call it, the local town. The fact that they finally accept Pyscho Goreman, well, they don't accept him, but that's not a spoiler. But there's parts where you have to suspend your disbelief, and I suspended my disbelief about how she acted and how crazy she was because of the world around her, and it's such a rich. It's such a rich film, and it's just pure entertainment.
But that's the thing, right? The movie is called Pyscho Goreman, and sure, it's the name that's whatever. It's I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a reason why the film is called Pyscho Goreman. But the word psycho really does kind of illustrate the world that they live in. It's crazy, and a lot of if not all of the characters are not really down to earth. I would say her brother is the most down to earth character in the entire film. Everyone else, it's like they're purposely overacting because that's the exact thing they're supposed to do in this style of movie. But I mean, yes, the little girl Mimi, played by Nita, I don't know if it's Jose or Josie. It's probably Josie. Nita Josie Hanna. She was just, her character was just a ball of chaos and attitude, like just major tude. But what impressed me is like she's young. And this little actress can pull off this just incredible high energy nonstop performance beginning to end, and like just spit out all of those zingers and one-liners like they're nothing. Like she's so good at it. It's like she's like this in real life. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like, wow, is this just her?
Yeah. What I loved, I think my favorite thing about the movie is if you almost just cut Pyscho Goreman's, the actual main monster / alien thing, if you cut all his content together, it's a totally separate movie about intergalactic wars, pillaging of planets, and I love how he's trying to put his point across in scenes. She's just basically dismissing what he's saying, and then you've got these huge kind of crazy sci-fi / fantasy scenes on other planets being demolished and open war, like it's like I don't know, like a fancy version of kind of Starship Troopers, and there's just crazy, just so many giant scenes. And then he's got these small scenes of this little girl, and you're trying to focus on what he's talking about and his kind of final solution. You know, there's maybe a better term for it, but his solution for I'm going to destroy you and your family.
His version of what Thanos. He's essentially Thanos, right? Trying to do what he thinks is best for the universe, but it's pretty destructive.
I didn't realize who the director was. Stephen Kostansky.
Yeah.
And he's the director of The Void, and that's one of my favorite horror films of the last 10 years. So I'm Stephen, if there's any chance or anyone that knows, I know a couple like Trish Renone, who submitted to the Isolation Film Festival. She was in The Void. I would love to speak to Stephen on the podcast with Michael, because Void is, I think it's fantastic. The physical effects in that and in Pyscho Goreman and the Power Rangers vibe this has, I connected with this in a really strange but beautiful way. It reminded me of so many times that I watched that show. But yeah, Pyscho Goreman is definitely a high recommendation on Shudder.
I would just like to quickly also mention that I found out this film was shot over here. I'm not sure if they're shot in Toronto, or just in Ontario, but yeah, it was Kickstartered for one, which is very impressive. Like, clearly they got enough money to do a lot with it, because that is a lot of costume work, a lot of makeup, a lot of everything. The budget must have been quite large. And also, I would like to mention that the first clue for me that it was shot here was that there are two people in the film that I recognized because I know them. One's Roxane Latoya. She is played Pandora, which is one of the villains, and also Kevin Robinson, who is one of the aliens, and he was one of my stage combat instructors way back in the day when I was training in stage combat.
That's awesome. I loved that mafioso table of aliens, and talking about how they're threatened by Pyscho Goreman. Those different aliens. I love those scenes. Especially that robot slash. It looked like something from Mars Attacks. You know, the brain in the jar with the eyeballs.
Yes.
I absolutely love that. So that's one of my favorite kind of production
elements. Oh, just a quick correction. Roxane goes by Roxane Plummer. That's what she's credited as in this film. Yeah.
So that was Pyscho Goreman, and that's exclusive to Shudder. I think you can buy it on Blu-ray, DVD.
You can. I actually went to their website to try to buy merch, and could only find a DVD right now, or Blu-ray and DVD.
That's surprising, because it is merch. You can see what you'd get and get some great stuff.
I wanted the action figures, man, but it was like a Kickstarter thing, and then they had a few left. They sold on the website, boom, gone. The shirt I want, they don't have it in my size.
We'd highly recommend Shudder, and we're not going to talk about the Chris Rock film, but Michael, you must check out Spiral on Shudder.
Yes, the Shudder Spiral, not the Chris Rock Spiral.
Love Chris Rock, but that film was not great. So talking about merch, I'd like to show you a couple of things from the Hellbound Horror Festival 2022.
Do we have news?
So we've got a few things. The Hellbound Festival stemmed originally from loving or being part of the Isolation Film Festival a couple of years ago, and I've created really strong friendships with you and a lot of other people now, and I feel as though I've got family in Canada, and based on that festival, and it helped a lot of people focus on creativity, I wanted to do the same thing for horror. I think it was the same year or the year after I created the Hellbound Horror Festival, and that was where people could submit their horror short films online. Obviously,
it was the same year.
It's the same year. Jesus Christ, that's why I was seriously ill at the end of that year. The Hellbound Festival stems from my love of horror, and I had Nadia Gladys and Michael help me with a lot of the social media and the cosplay aspect to it, and hopefully we'll bring that back into it as well. And I had a break last year of I did the Isolation Film Festival, and that was a lot of work, and that I think that's kind of coming to a natural end now. We're still in isolation in large parts of the planet, but that's coming to natural end to that festival. But the Hellbound Festival, Hellbound 2, as it's being called, because it's the sequel. So there's a year gap between the last one. It's coming back. It's coming back bigger and better than ever. And that's going to launch in the 1st of August, 2022. And I think the last submission day is going to be the 1st of October as well. So then I've got plenty of time to put the elements together. You know how it all works. And
Yeah.
I'm looking to have guest judges in. There's 2, I think, that will say yes, but without kind of saying their names and having any false promises. I'm not going to reveal the judges yet. I think it's a bit too early in the year. So 1st of August is when you can submit your horror films to the Hellbound Horror Festival, and I will provide links. I'll provide a link in this episode to the Film Freeway. That's where you can submit your films. There are going to be clear rules to make it better and to make sure that all the films are available on the live broadcast on I think it's going to be the 29th or 30th of October. I think it's 29th. 29th of October is when the event's going to be on YouTube. So that's going to be a mixture of live and a live event and a showcase of all the films. So you must make your film available for at least one streaming day, because we had problems last year or the year before where people promised their films and then production companies stepped in and say, you can't show this film, even though I'd put a 2-hour program together, which is a monumental amount of work. And what I had to go through to get those clearances on the 2 hours, so I didn't have to re-edit it and mess up my release timing. Anyway, so all the rules and everything will come through soon. I'm actually going to launch it from a haunted castle. So there's a castle in North. There's a castle I'm in contact with now. I'm not going to say the name. It's a stately home, but it's a small castle, and it's run by one person, and her family live there. She bought it for a small amount of money years ago. There's a whole story around this castle. They've shot Hammer horror films there. Amazon have shot there last year for a sci-fi series. And there's a good chance that I'll be able to use this as the backdrop for all the rule content, the website content for using cutaways for promo stuff for Instagram. And now those details will come soon, but I'll let I'll let everyone know as soon as I've got that confirmed.
Amazing.
And I've got mocked up merch for the Hellbound podcast and for the Hellbound Festival itself. And I'm going to show you this, an exclusive for Michael, because obviously he's Michael.
I'm here with you.
Yeah, I think there'll be a crossing of the streams if Michael submitted a horror film, but I would love to see Michael submit a horror film to promote.
You want me to submit in Hellbound, even though I'm working on Hellbound?
No, as a promo for the festival, maybe we can work on something together, even if it's just voice based.
Okay, you scared to. I mean, I do have a film that I could submit, but it's not me submitting it, it's my producer, but still, I'm in it.
Oh, maybe, well, maybe it can be out of...
Does that count?
Out of competition submission.
I wouldn't be allowed to judge it, though.
No, absolutely not. So I'm going to try and share whilst we're recording. Let me try and share this.
Oh, Mike. Oh. Okay, so... I'm speechless. This is so cool. Okay. Is that our new logo?
That's our new logo, officially commissioned by.
So you guys all know,
artist,
okay. So is it Danny?
It's Danny.
Oh my god. So wow. Okay. So you guys know our logo is like a skull, but it's like Pinhead, right? And it used to be just kind of, I don't know what like a vector drawing. I don't know what to call that style that we had before, but now it's like a detailed skull with like it's Pinhead's skull, but his mouth is open and there's a camera lens in the mouth, and then there's like, is that supposed to be a flash in the eye or the recording?
A flash, but if you look at very particular high-end Sony camera lenses, they show certain lens flares and they have that many spikes in.
Okay, this is gorgeous. Is there merch now? Is there like stuff exclusive to us that you're hiding that people can't buy, but like that I can buy? Because I would wear this. I would wear it on a hat or a toque. I want this on a back of a hoodie.
Can you see this?
I want a pair of underwear with this skull on the crotch, and then another pair of underwear where it's on my butt.
Well, that's actually where I was kind of leading, not the crotch and the underwear, but with this mug. I don't know if you can see this mug on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
And then if I flip to the other side, there's other Danny has made. Danny's our artist from Indonesia. We found it through Fiverr. For those that don't know, but yeah, he's made variations of the logo for me. For us. It's pretty sweet, isn't it?
It is. I just want to point something out in the thing you just sent me here. So it says 1st August 2022, Hellbound 2. Hellbound Productions in association with Michael Chan Films. I don't have a film company. It's MKJ Cineframe, but I mean, you're not in conjunction with us.
It's
so
just,
I think
it's
maybe just Michael Chan.
Mock-up. Yeah, it was a mock-up. So.
Oh, I thought you thought that I owned a company called Michael Chan Films. I'm like, that would be cool, but. Let's see, Presidents. Okay, the other thing, right at the end, I'm executive producer now.
Yeah.
What? I thought I was just community content producer.
No, because the conversations that we have through the podcast and on Facebook, that's where we normally kind of converse about the show.
Right. Yeah.
Is it helps me find what I need in terms of what do I need to post, what do I need to achieve now. You give me pointers all the time, so this is the least I can do is kind of give you a better credit. Because it's more than just the kind of cosplay content creator. This is something different, and I want
just
this
love
festival.
The festival.
It's
I
fun,
love
isn't
working
it?
on it. I have so much passion for this festival, like obviously outside of just the community content stuff that I work on. So thank you. Wow, I never ever imagined. Pardon?
No, but it was the best decision ever that for me, outside of what I create myself, to do this podcast, to have you more involved. And it's not like we need to chat all the time where everyone's got serious kind of family commitments and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to get a message to you, and then we chat about a certain aspect of this, and because I get tunnel vision with certain aspects of my creativity, and I just need to kind of step back sometimes. So you're a great sounding board for all of this, and Jess is fantastic as well. So yeah, that's why
I feel like I under gifted you for Christmas. All I gave you is, I still have to mail it, but all I gave you is a pop figure from Baskin Robbins. You gave me a Shudder subscription, and now you're giving me an executive producer position in Hellbound. Thank you.
Well,
wow.
There's no need to thank you, but I appreciate that. But I realize how precious life is and how important friends are, and especially with. There's a friend of mine who's seriously ill at the moment, and this is just a very small gesture to a good friend that you are, Michael, that I can give you. And you being part of my life and being part of this festival means a lot. So I know it's going to be even better, even if we only chat like once a week on a text. So yeah, I thank you. Yeah. One little comment is, do you like the folds on the poster?
Yes, that is like extra.
And then
like in a good way, not in a bad.
They're not the same across the board.
Really?
Yeah, because if you look at the two vertical lines, they're not the same.
Oh, I see it. Oh my god.
They're actually paint strokes in a straight line. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you unfolded this to read it. That's amazing.
Cool, right, yeah. But yeah, that's the Hellbound 2 announcement. So we're open for submissions on the 1st of August this year, and we close for submissions on the 1st of October. We'll sort the credit out properly, and we'll release the proper artwork that represents the festival fully. And we'll also, at the weekend when this episode comes out, we'll also release this art in a vertical format for Instagram, and I think we'll have the new banner heads and everything on Facebook, and I'll start to ramp things up because I need to do things early. I need to do prep early, and it's a good few months early.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with that. I'm chuffed to bits, as we say here, about the fact that you like the artwork, and
I love the artwork. So yeah, everyone, thank you so much for listening. If you liked what you listened to and haven't already done so, please subscribe or follow our podcast on whatever podcast platform or app that you are using to listen. And if there is the ability to review or give stars or a rating, please give us a 5-star rating or 10 out of 10 or 5 out of 5 and a nice little review. It really helps us grow our listener base, and we would very much appreciate it. Thank you. Also, if you have horror cosplays or horror makeups you want to show off, we would love to show the world your artistry, your creativity, your imagination. So please send them to us through our Instagram, which is at the Hellbound Podcast. Just private message us, send us the pictures, and we will put them up and give you some credit and give you some love.
Harness the doctors.
Harness. I don't know why I'm giggling at the way you just got your face close to the mic.
I know.
Harness the dark.
It's because I sounded like a creepy voyeuristic.
And you had to like pull up your turtleneck.
I was revealing myself to you, Michael. That's what I was doing. Anyway.
Oh God.
Anyway,
Harness
have a good one, man.